Long ago, in a quiet land where the earth was red and the wind carried the smell of rain, two girls lived by the edge of a winding river in a small village in Nigeria. Their names were Imani and Zola. From the day they could walk, they walked together. From the day they could speak, they spoke each other's names before any other word. The villagers said their shadows touched even when they stood apart, and that their laughter could soften the hardest heart. Imani was gentle, with eyes that noticed small things, the way ants carried crumbs twice their size, the way the river glowed when the moon rested on its skin. Zola was bold, with a voice that carried across fields and a spirit that refused to bow to fear. Where one hesitated, the other stepped forward. Where one grew tired, the other offered strength. They fetched water together, shared bowls of warm porridge, and dreamed aloud of futures that stretched beyond the narrow paths of their village. Their favorite place was the riverbank. The water curved like a silver ribbon, whispering secrets to the stones. They believed the river listened to them. When Imani spoke of her worries, the water softened its rush, as though calming her heart. When Zola laughed, the current seemed to quicken, dancing with her joy. The elders warned that rivers were old spirits and that careless words could wake sleeping powers, but the girls felt only comfort there. The river had never harmed them. It had cradled their feet on hot days and reflected their faces when they leaned close to its surface. As the seasons passed, the village prospered in small ways. Markets grew busier. Drums beat longer into the night. Then, one dry season, dust rose on the horizon and announced the arrival of the king's procession. The people gathered, unsure whether to bow in gratitude or fear. The king stepped from his horse with a smile that did not reach his eyes. His robes were rich, his voice smooth, and his gaze lingered too long on the faces of Yoon. The king's presence changed the village in quiet, dangerous ways. He ordered feasts that drained the granaries and demanded songs that praised his mercy. Those who pleased him were rewarded with small favors. Those who did not were met with cold silence that carried the promise of punishment. Each day, his gaze returned to the riverbank, where Imani and Zola went to draw water. He sent servants with gifts of cloth and beads, pretending kindness, while testing their hearts. Imani accepted the cloth with bowed head, careful not to offend, yet she returned the beads, saying she had no need for ornaments. Zola spoke plainly, thanking the servants, but refusing the gifts altogether. The king laughed when he heard of their responses. He said the gentle one was wise, and the bold one was proud. His words spread through the village like seeds in dry soil, taking root in careless minds. Soon, people began to look at the girls differently, measuring their worth by the king's attention. At night, the king sent for Imani. He spoke to her of safety, of how fragile villages were in harsh seasons, of how a single favor from him could shield her family from hunger. Imani listened with lowered eyes, her heart pounding. She asked only for time. The king's smile tightened, and he agreed, though his patience thinned like a thread pulled too far. When Zola heard of the summons, she bristled. She warned Imani that kindness spoken by power often hit a blade. Imani wanted to believe that careful words could soften hard hearts. She did not wish to anger a king. The space between the two friends, once filled with easy trust, grew thin with unspoken worry. The river whispered again, its voice rough against the stones, as if urging them to leave while they still could. The king began to visit the riverbank at dawn. He praised Zola's courage, then mocked it in the same breath. He told Imani that her friend's defiance would bring trouble upon them both. When Zola confronted him, his eyes darkened.